I mean, for me, it's very important that I go to Worlds because I do want to show that I'm like one of the top millionaires in the EU and maybe possibly in the world, right? I feel like last Worlds I performed decently, and I feel like I want another shot.
Today is the second day of the LEC Week 3 Summer Split, and I am in the presence of Nisqy after a dominant performance against his former team, Nisqy. And Nisqy, tell me, how are you feeling after taking them down in such a convincing fashion?
I mean, it always feels good to beat the team that replaced you.
Yeah.
I think that goes for every player that plays against their former team, right? And yeah, always good to beat them and to make sure that they don't make playoffs this time around. And yeah, this one was very important for us because we also want to be on the top of the ladder, right? So yeah, very happy.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess today you proved that D tier mid laner can, in fact, take down a B tier mid laner, right? Are you happy about that as well, being able to take down Fresskowy?
Yeah, I think I had to show a great performance today because I guess I'm a D mid laner, D tier. Um, but yeah, I mean, in the end, it's all loves and whatnot. But yeah, I still feel very happy that I've been able to play like consistent throughout this whole split, and I hope I can keep this form during playoffs because that's what matters in the end. Regular season is nice and all, but in the end, it's how you show up in playoffs. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I think you talked to Tipsa like 2 weeks ago, and I think it was after the Fnatic loss. And I remember you told him that you felt like you maybe weren't on top of your game back then, and also like talking about the last few splits as well. So I would like to ask, like, how do you feel right now about your level of play, and would you say as well that like the fact that like Spanish fans in particular like sometimes criticize you, like has it affected your mentor in a way?
Not really, because I mean, usually when I get flamed by Spanish people, it kind of gives me motivation, and also I have like the whole French army behind
Mm,
me that
yeah.
like counters whatever they say. But I think it's just funny how it works, right? Because Spanish people think I'm bad, French people think I'm like really good, and
Mhm.
then French people think Zoe is really bad, Spanish people think it's really good. So it's just very fun to be in this environment. I feel like before
Mhm.
it was not really the case. I mean, I was in Mad, right? It's Spanish org, and then I was playing with Joya, and the Spanish people will still hate me. But now that I'm against them, I feel really happy, and I feel like with SK we've been doing really good, and it's good to kind of shut down the haters really quick. And yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah. And how confident do you feel about your own level of play right now as well?
I mean, right now I feel like I'm in a very good place because I feel like I'm very consistent in what I do. I don't pick like random champs like Ezreal mid and whatnot to have fun. I feel like I actually pick to what my team needs from me, and I can kind of play any style. And yeah, I feel like I have been consistent. And as I said, in the end, it's like playoffs that matter. So I will keep this form for sure. And I don't know if people have followed, but I actually don't play much solo queue right now. I play more of like other
Chain
games and
together
whatnot.
and stuff.
Yeah, like chain together. And I feel like that's good for me because it makes me more relaxed in a way, and then like I miss league and then I play lots of league, so it's like a good disconnect, a good balance. Even though people think I should just play solo queue over and over again, I don't really have that mentality, and in the end, as long as my team is fine with it, then I don't think I care much of what people think. Yeah.
Yeah. And that aside, I mean, obviously, like, I think the results of SK Gaming this split have been surprising for a lot of people because, sure, like, people probably expected that it would be like a general upgrade to bring in Rahel Luon, but like now you are actually tied for first place, especially after Fnatic's lost today, so you are 6-1. And I would like to ask, like, did you even expect those results before the splits, or are you even like surprised yourself that you guys are performing this well?
I mean, I wouldn't say I'm like surprised. I knew we would do good, but I didn't think we would do like this good. Of course, for
Mm.
example, I didn't expect us to necessarily like beat G2, but they were in a bad form, we were in a good form. I think Fnatic game was very close,
Mhm.
but except Fnatic and G2, to be fair, no team scared me in general. I was a bit scared of like our synergy on stage if it was like as good as scrims, but looks like we play better on stage than we do in scrims, so no, nothing to worry about.
Oh, that's good, definitely. But that aside, I mean, you've been to a lot of places, right? You've won the LEC, you've won the LCS, you've been to Worlds, MSI, you've been playing pro basically like since 2017. So I would like to ask, like, after all these years, what are your goals with SK Gaming right now, and like, what do you see for your future as a player as well?
I mean, for me, it's very important that I go to Worlds because I do want to show that I'm like one of the top millionaires in the EU and maybe possibly in the world, right? I feel like last Worlds I performed decently, and I feel like I want another shot to
Mm.
kind of prove to myself that I can actually do it, that I can actually win Worlds if needed, which I feel like everyone says, right? But I feel like I actually watch like a lot of VODs. I try to implement new stuff in my gameplay. I try to be very consistent because I feel like that's what great mids do in general. And yeah, I'm happy that I've been doing it in EU. But for me, next step is Worlds, and that's why I'm not like too happy. Kind of like what we're doing. It's like in the end, I want to go Worlds and perform there. So this is just like this is just the process. But yeah, definitely happy with my team also stepping up. I think Irrelevant, ISMA, and bot lane as well. Like I feel like everyone's doing a really good job of actually doing their job in game. Also like keeping a good mood in the team, playing a lot of solo queue, keep like staying motivated and whatnot. It's usually not easy if you just win. You think you're good and then you play less or care less, play with more ego and whatnot. But I feel like right now we put that aside and yeah, we're showing everyone that we are a top team in EU and that we wanna get that spot at Worlds.
Yeah. And speaking of ISMA as well, because recently on Twitter he said that actually like he didn't feel too great about his performance, especially last week. And I mean, he's still a very young player, right? He's probably like one of the youngest players in terms of competitive experience in the team. So how has it been like working with him as well, like this split, and getting him on that same level as well, and making sure that he can like be confident in his play as well? Like today he picked Diana, which is something that wasn't very expected, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think Isma works really well when he's very confident in his champion pool. Like for example, everyone's playing like these AP weird champs, and he's like, "Yeah, just give me Sejuani or Maokai or whatever champ, I will make it work. You know, I don't care what I will get countered by, for example," which I really like because I feel like the junglers that are playing like Talia, Brand, Lilia, and whatnot, I feel like I would not, I would rather not play with those champs.
Yeah.
And I feel like he knows his role really well within the team. And as I said, it's a collective effort of making this work. And I think everyone knows what they have to do to win the game, and no one is being like greedy or trying to find a new champ, trying to find like a weird champ and whatnot to play, forcing it in draft and whatnot. Everyone just picks what they're good at, and we make it work.
Yeah. And I mean, like speaking of champs and stuff, like obviously we've seen this week like the rise of ADCs made like Ezreal and stuff. But that aside, though, we also saw the reveal of Aurora, the new champion. So I would like to quickly ask of you: have you like followed the release a bit? What do you think of her kit, by the way, as well?
I mean, I saw that she can like, I don't know, she has a sort of Camille ult where she can TP twice in it and whatnot. I mean, it does look very
Yeah.
broken from the first side. Sadly, it will not be enabled for like playoffs and whatnot, but maybe season finals, I guess. I mean, always good when there's new champs that are coming in.
Yeah.
And it's a matter of like who finds the best build, who finds the best options, who finds the counters to it. So it's always fun when there's new champs because I feel like it gives me more like it gives me another goal kind of like figuring out this champ and trying to figure out what counters it and how to implement it in a team. Does it actually just work in solo queue or does it work in competitive as well? So yeah, it will be fun to see what this champ actually does.
Yeah, and I mean now that you're tied in first place, by the way, with Fnatic and I think BDS, right?
Yeah.
You're all 6-1, and G2 is closely behind at 5-2. Who do you think is actually like the best team in the LEC right now, by the way? Because G2 seems to be waking up, right? So, what do you think is the best team right now?
I think G2 and Fnatic are still the best in my opinion. I
Mm.
think G2 is right now kind of figuring out their path to being the best again. And I think Fnatic just has a very good stable game in general, and I think they're all good mechanically, all good in lane. So I would say G2 and Fnatic are still the top teams, and I'd say right behind it's kind of BDS. I think BDS has a good way of playing the game, very controlled,
Hmm.
and I feel like their drafts have been pretty good, except against us they picked Varus and Mordekaiser. But yeah, I feel like BDS with good drafts or a team that you can be scared of. Yeah.
Yeah. And just to close off, I have a very interesting French rookie. I would like to ask your thoughts on him. You might know him. His name is Tiky. Actually, he's been smurfing it in the Nexus store. You know, like 1-2 steps there as well. And he was in the NNO Cup as well. So, what do you think of that Tiky guy? Do you think he could be LFL ready soon?
I think if he works on his mental and the fact that he only plays one champ, maybe he can be the next, I don't know, maybe the next like Zyro or something. But as of now, I don't think he's ready to play anywhere in competitive. He's not even challenger, so yeah.
Oh,
I think he
damn.
should stick to other games and not league, yeah.
Well, sounds good. I mean, good luck to him in any case. But yeah, that is about it for the time we have today. Do you have anything you want to say to your fans before we close off?
Yeah, I mean, thank you for supporting me as always. It gives me a huge boost when I have such a big following. And it always feels good to beat the Spanish people. So yeah, I'm happy about the win today, and I hope that we can keep going. And next week we play two French teams, so hopefully I will beat them as well. And yeah, it will be very exciting games.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much in any case for your time today, Nisqy. I hope you
Thank you
have
very
a
much.
great week. And
Thank
yeah,
you.
hopefully we'll get to talk to you again soon.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.